Hi, I'm Dave Wurzel, and you're watching PHTV4. This is Bookshelf, and on Bookshelf we take a look at a variety of books from a variety of categories. Today we're going to take a look at November releases. With me to look at November releases, titles that Matt Matkowski, the head of public services at Palos Heights Library, gave us a whole slew of titles to work from. We had to pare it down. We're going to mention a lot. There's a lot of good books coming out in November. So we're going to highlight a few, and then we'll mention some later coming on. Matt, you want to get us started? We're going to jump into the category, a blend of mystery, suspense, action, adventure. We've got a whole thing going on here. Who have you got?
That's right. We have David Baldacci. He's back with The Edge. In this one, the 620 man is back. He's dropped by his handlers into a small coastal town in Maine to solve the murder of a CIA agent who knew America's dirtiest secrets. Can Travis Devine uncover the truth before his time runs out? We'll find out.
All right. I'm going to be honest. I've never read any of these type of spy mysteries. Maybe I need to take a look at this one. Now, this next book I know we both read. Another category here, we've got a fantasy with a dash of romance in the world of dragons. And this is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is the sequel to The Fourth Wing. I know you and I have both read it. I'm going to up front say I don't think I'm the target audience. You may not be the target audience.
Probably not.
But I read it, and I did like the first book enough to make me think I will take a look at the second book. How about you on that?
I will probably end up seeing what happened.
Yeah, it has a great ending, and we won't spoil if you haven't read the first book. So the sequel coming out in November, The Fourth Wing, to The Fourth Wing, Iron Flame. Everyone expected Violet Sorengale to die during her first year at Basgiath War College. Obviously, she survives, but she didn't think she'd survive either. And, she goes through the training. And so we're going to pick up with her, probably her year two, right?
I'd imagine.
That's where we're headed. And, I'm going to leave it at that, except to say that this book has dragons. She's a rider in this one, and one of the most powerful dragons, I think. And obviously they're at war with other communities around them. It's got a lot of action in it. It can be very intense at times, but there is a strong romance element.
That there is.
The book has been a bestseller. I would imagine this will end up being a bestseller too. So if you like the first one, you definitely want to check out the second one. If you haven't, I think they're worth a look.
Yeah, this definitely, I've heard, got a lot of younger people back into reading.
Yeah.
So
I could see it. It has that whole fantasy world thing with the dragons. It has that kind of medieval feel to it. Okay, let's take a look at another category here. This category, I'm calling it the Lincoln Lawyer Harry Bosch crossover murder legal thriller. If you're not familiar, Lincoln Lawyer, maybe, Netflix series. But Matt, what book do we have in this category?
This is Resurrection Walk by Michael Connelly. It is book 7 in the Lincoln Lawyer series, and defense attorney Mickey Haller is back, taking the long shot cases where the chances of winning are 1 in a million. He enlists his half-brother, retired LAP detective Harry Bosch, to weed through the letters, knowing most claims will be false. Bosch pulls a needle from the haystack. A woman in prison for killing her husband, a sheriff's deputy, but who still maintains her innocence. Bosch reviews the case and sees elements that don't add up.
All right. I'm going to have to, again, be honest, I have not read any of these books. I feel like maybe I should because I've watched the series on Netflix, and it's good. I mean, it's entertaining, and how things get solved, I like it. So maybe I need to take a look at the book, and obviously this would be a interesting one to pick up. Next category we're going to take a look at is the murder mystery thriller category, and we've got The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. A new mess, a new mystery. It's up to Molly the maid to uncover the truth, and no matter how dirty. Molly Gray is not like anyone else. With her flair for cleaning and proper etiquette, she has risen through the ranks of the glorious 5-star Regency Grand Hotel to become the esteemed head maid. But just as her life reaches a pinnacle state of perfection, her world is turned upside down when J.D. Grimthorpe, the world-renowned mystery author, drops dead, very dead, on the hotel's tea room floor. And mystery ensues.
It's a great name, J.D. Grimthorpe.
Yeah, it is. It has that feel to it. Okay, let's take a look at the next category here. We've got expertly, this is a critic's description of this book, and I thought it was really interesting. Expertly mixing spy drama with romance and wry comedy. This is quite a little potpourri of stuff there. What have you got, man?
That's right. It's Tess Gerritsen. People love her. Yeah. She's back with The Spy Coast, in which a retired CIA operative in small-town Maine tackles the ghosts of her past in this fresh take on the spy thriller. Former spy Maggie Bird came to the seaside town of Purity, Maine, eager to put the past behind her after a mission went tragically wrong. These days, she's living quietly on her chicken farm, still wary of blowback from the events that forced her into early retirement. But when a body turns up in Maggie's driveway, she knows it's a message from former foes who haven't forgotten her.
All right. Again, it sounds interesting, and I'm looking at, we're kind of on a theme here, other than the one fantasy one, a lot of mystery, suspense, and we're going to continue that one. Next category, suspense, suspenseful historical fiction. This is interesting because it's based on the actual life and a diary of somebody. Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. I hope I'm saying that right. This book is described as a gripping historical mystery inspired by the life and diary of Martha Ballard, a renowned 18th century midwife who investigates a shocking murder that unhinges her small community. The setting is Maine, 1789. The Kennebec River freezes, entombing a man in ice. Martha Ballard is summoned to examine the body and determine the cause of death. The reviews, the pre-reviews on this are really good. I mean, it sounds interesting, and you've got a nonfiction element to it. It's based on some actual people and events.
Right. So. And 2 stories in a row set in Maine, not by Stephen King.
Yeah.
So
another breakthrough.
Yeah.
Our next category: an eye-opening journey into the lives of the working poor. Yeah.
This is Class, a memoir of motherhood, hunger, and higher education by Stephanie Land. And in this one, Class paints an intimate and heartbreaking portrait of motherhood as it converges and often conflicts with personal desire and professional ambition. Who has the right to create art? Who has the right to go to college? And what kind of work is valued in our culture? In clear, candid, and moving prose, Class grapples with these questions, offering a searing indictment of America's educational system and an inspiring testimony of a mother's triumph against all odds.
Yeah, and I want to say, I think this is her second book also, right?
I believe so.
And again, a very powerful topic, and the pre-reviews on this are very good too. All right, I'm going to admit this next book I kind of snuck in here. I don't know if this is a good book or not, but it was intriguing. I like the time period. So this is in our Hollywood historical fiction mystery category. This is Last Night at the Hollywood Canteen by Sarah James. Perhaps, here's their description, perhaps the best place in 1943 Hollywood to see the stars is the Hollywood Canteen, a club for servicemen staffed exclusively by those in show business. Murder mystery playwright Annie Lawrence, new in town after a devastating breakup, definitely hopes to rub elbows with the right stars, and maybe then she can get her movie made. But Hollywood proves to be more than tinsel and glamour when despised film critic Fiona Ferris is found dead in the canteen kitchen. And he realizes any one of the canteen's luminous volunteers could be guilty of the crime. It has the look, and again, there was a lot of great press on this one. Enough that I'm going to have to take a look. This is like the guilty pleasure reading, I think. And then one more release, and a super big name in literature here.
That's right. You know him, you love him. Mitch Albom. He's back with The Little Liar, and this one is described as a powerful novel that moves from a coastal Greek city during the Holocaust to America, where the intertwined lives of 3 survivors are forever changed by the perils of deception and the grace of redemption. A moving parable that explores honesty, survival, revenge, and devotion, narrated by the voice of truth itself. It is a timeless story about the harm we inflict with our deceits and the power of love to ultimately redeem us.
It sounds like Mitch Albom, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't read all his books. I've read several of them. This one sounds very, in vein of his storytelling style.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely recommend. If you've never picked one up, maybe this is the one to start with. Several of his earlier books are great books to look at. So those are the books we're going to feature, but we do have to acknowledge there's a lot of big names with books coming out in November. Inheritance by Nora Roberts, The Ball at Versailles, Danielle Steele. She's almost good, almost once a month, I think. Alex Cross Must Die. Yes, James Patterson is back. Another big name, Patricia Cornwell, Unnatural Death. And then we can just continue here. I mean, more big name authors. The Watchmaker's Hand, Jeffrey Deaver. Clive Cussler, Dirk Cussler working together, a father and son team. Yes, I'll guiltily admit I've read several of the Cussler books.
Very popular.
Yeah, they are. The Corsican Shadow, Anne Perry, A Christmas Vanishing, Tom Clancy, another big name, back with action Command and Control. And then finally, Mike Lupica with Robert B. Parker's Broken Trust. So a lot of good books, some maybe a little under the radar, some big names that people would be happy, I think, to see their authors back. All right, Matt. Well, thank you for helping put together this list, bringing us these titles for November. I'm Dave Wurzel, and you've been watching PHTV4 Bookshelf, and we've been presenting November releases for 2023. Thank you for watching, and good reading.